There is a body of water nestled between Great Britain and the mainland of northern Europe that has shaped nations and challenged all who travel upon it. This is the North Sea. It is not a tropical paradise with calm turquoise waters. Instead, it is a place of churning grey waves and powerful winds, a sea with a character that is truly untamed. For centuries, it has been both a provider and a destroyer, a vital artery for trade and a formidable barrier. Its reputation is one of wildness, a place where nature's power is on full and constant display, demanding respect from all who approach its shores or venture onto its surface. The North Sea touches the lives of millions. It is bordered by countries such as the United Kingdom, Norway, Denmark, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and France. For the people living along these coastlines, the sea is a constant presence. It influences their weather, their food, and even their stories and legends. It is a working sea, busy with ships, fishing boats, and energy platforms, all operating under its often unforgiving gaze. To understand this region of the world, one must first understand the immense and restless spirit of the sea that defines it. It is a neighbor that can be generous, but one that must never, ever be underestimated. The untamed nature of the North Sea comes from its unique position on our planet. It is a meeting point for different weather systems, where cold air from the Arctic can collide with warmer, wetter air from the Atlantic. This constant battle in the atmosphere above is mirrored in the water below, creating a restless energy that seldom ceases. The sea seems to have a mood of its own, changing from a placid, almost calm state to a furious rage in a matter of hours. It is this unpredictability, this raw power, that has fascinated and frightened people for thousands of years, a truly wild place on the doorstep of modern Europe. One of the most significant events to show the sea's power was the Great Flood of 1953. A violent storm, combined with a high spring tide, created a massive surge of water that overwhelmed coastal defences. The Netherlands, Belgium, and the east coast of England were devastated. Entire communities were submerged, and tragically, over 2,000 people lost their lives. This disaster was a terrible reminder that no matter how well we build our walls and defences, the North Sea possesses a force that can overcome them. It taught a painful but vital lesson about the need for constant vigilance and respect for the sea's immense potential for destruction. The North Sea is what geographers call a marginal sea of the Atlantic Ocean. It is relatively shallow, which is a key part of its character. If you were to look at it on a map, you would see it is almost completely surrounded by land, a vast basin of water covering an area of around 570,000 square kilometers. This enclosed shape means that the water within it behaves differently to the open ocean. It cannot easily disperse the energy from winds and tides, so the waves can build up to become very large and steep, making conditions for shipping and fishing particularly challenging and dangerous. One of the most fascinating features hidden beneath the waves is the Dogger Bank. This is a huge, shallow sandbank right in the middle of the North Sea. In some places, the water here is only 15 meters deep, while the sea around it can be much deeper. In ancient times, long before the last ice age ended, this area was not a sandbank but dry land. It was a vast plain that connected Great Britain to the rest of Europe, a lost world that scientists now call Doggerland. This submerged landscape is a powerful reminder of how our world changes over time, and how the sea can claim lands that were once home to plants, animals, and even early humans. The shape of the North Sea is a result of immense geological forces over millions of years. It is a relatively young sea, formed as sea levels rose after the last great glaciation. The water flooded low-lying areas, creating the coastline we know today. The seabed itself is not flat. It is a complex landscape of trenches, banks, and valleys, sculpted by ancient rivers and glaciers. This varied underwater geography influences where different fish and marine life can be found. For instance, the shallower areas, like the Dogger Bank, are incredibly important fishing grounds, providing a habitat for cod, haddock and plaice, which have sustained coastal communities for centuries. The waters of the North Sea are in constant motion, driven by powerful tides. Because of its shape, the tide enters from the north and also through the English Channel in the south. These two tidal waves meet and interact, creating complex currents and whirlpools. This constant churning and mixing of the water is vital for the sea's health. It brings nutrients up from the seabed, which provides food for the smallest organisms, the plankton. These tiny life forms are the foundation of the entire marine food web, supporting everything from the smallest fish to the largest whales that sometimes visit these rich and productive waters. The North Sea has not just been a natural barrier, it has been a highway for human history, a stage for exploration, conflict, and commerce. Long before modern ships, brave seafarers learned to navigate its treacherous waters. The most famous of these were, of course, the Vikings. From the late 8th century, these Scandinavian explorers, traders, and warriors used their magnificent longships to cross the sea. They raided coastlines, but also established vast trading networks, connecting cultures and changing the course of European history. The North Sea was their playground and their proving ground, a testament to their incredible skill and courage as sailors. Following the age of the Vikings, the North Sea became the center of a powerful trading network known as the Hanseatic League. This was a confederation of merchant guilds and their market towns, which dominated trade across northern Europe for hundreds of years. Cities like Hamburg, Lübeck, and London grew wealthy and powerful by controlling the flow of goods such as timber, wax, grain, and salted fish across the sea. Their ships, called cogs, were built to be sturdy and carry large cargoes, designed specifically to withstand the North Sea's challenging conditions. This league showed how the sea, if mastered, could bring immense prosperity. However, where there is trade, there is often conflict. The North Sea has been the setting for many naval battles that have decided the fate of empires. The Anglo-Dutch wars in the 17th century were fought largely on these waters, as England and the Netherlands competed for control of the lucrative sea trade routes. Later, during the First World War, it was the scene of the Great Battle of Jutland in 1916, the largest naval battle of the war, where the British and German fleets clashed in a colossal and deadly confrontation. The seabed of the North Sea is littered with the wrecks of warships, a silent graveyard that speaks of its violent past. In more recent times, the use of the sea has changed once again. The discovery of vast reserves of oil and natural gas beneath the seabed in the 20th century transformed the region. A new kind of structure appeared on the horizon, the oil rig. These towering metal islands are marvels of engineering, built to extract energy from deep below the waves while withstanding the sea's fiercest storms. This industry has brought enormous wealth to the surrounding nations, but it also brings new risks. The challenge now is to balance the need for energy with the vital importance of protecting the sea's delicate marine environment from pollution and damage. Living by the North Sea or working upon it requires a deep and permanent respect for its power. Its wildness is not an occasional event, it is its fundamental nature. The weather can change with breathtaking speed, and a calm morning can turn into a raging gale by the afternoon. Sailors and fishers know this better than anyone. They learn to read the sky, the wind, and the movement of the water, making decisions that can mean the difference between a safe return and disaster. This constant awareness, this humility in the face of nature, is a lesson the North Sea teaches to every generation that lives along its shores. The dangers are ever present. The combination of powerful winds, strong tidal currents, and a shallow seabed can create exceptionally steep and chaotic waves that can overwhelm even large, modern vessels. Fog can descend without warning, reducing visibility to almost zero and making navigation perilous. In winter, the freezing spray can coat ships in thick layers of ice, making them unstable and dangerously heavy. These are not abstract threats. They are the daily realities for those who make their living from the sea, and a constant reminder that this is a workplace unlike any other on Earth. Because of this, the people of the North Sea have become pioneers in safety and rescue. The nations that border it have developed some of the most advanced maritime rescue services in the world. Teams of brave volunteers and professionals are on call day and night, ready to launch helicopters and lifeboats into the very worst conditions to save those in peril. This spirit of cooperation and mutual support is a direct response to the shared threat posed by the sea. It is an understanding that when the waves rise and the winds howl, survival depends on skill, technology, and the courage to help one another. Ultimately, the North Sea is a paradox. It is a place of immense natural beauty and ecological richness, but also one of profound danger. It has been a source of food, a path for trade, a battlefield, and now a vital source of energy. It has shaped the character of nations and the lives of countless individuals. As we continue to rely on its resources, we must never forget the lessons of its past, from the Great Flood of 1953 to the many ships resting on its floor. We must treat it not as a resource to be conquered, but as a powerful, untamed force of nature that deserves our utmost care, caution, and profound respect.